Do you have your top and doors off of your Jeep, but don't have anywhere to put your cash, your GoPros, or other valuables? Well, stay tuned, and I'm going to show you a solution. Before we do the install, I want to give a shout out to Wield, the company who made this awesome shirt I'm wearing. Not only do they make men's shirts, but also women's t-shirts, tank tops, and racerbacks. Check them out on Instagram at Wield Life and get your hands on one of these great looking shirts today. Alright, so now we're inside the Gladiator, and I'm going to go ahead and install this security box. Now, the security box that I purchased is from a company called Tuffy. They've got a security console that drops right into your existing console with no drilling, no holes required, anything like that. It's a fairly simple installation. It does require you to be a little bit creative in the way that you put screws and nuts on the bottom of it because of the tight spaces and the tight fitting area. All right, so what you see here is the actual finished installation of it. So this is the little top, comes up, this is where you lock it, and once you lock it, it becomes super duper strong in there, and it will not come out you know, without some significant encouragement. And if anybody's trying to steal something from your vehicle, they probably want it really, really bad if they've gone to that length to get into it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try to break down this installation for you, and we can go step by step through it, and I'll show you how to do it as far as which pieces go where. It's not hard, it just takes a little bit of patience. Okay, so this is the finished product after you install it. As you can see, it's pretty rugged. It's made of steel. It's got this sort of black textured finish to it. That's a powder-coated finish. It's got a lock on here, and you get 2 keys that come with your lock. If I flip that up, you can see the storage compartment below. Now, full disclosure, it does take away some of your console space. So here's the thing. You don't really have a secure way to store anything. There is this, you know, cheap lock that's on the console itself, but it really doesn't, make your items almost 100% theft free, or at least make it to where the thieves really, really have to work for it. All right, so again, you know, it does take away some of the space, but whenever it does close, the console does close all the way down. It's, you know, very clean design. Unless somebody knew that you had that in there or were looking for it or whatnot, they may not know. And in theory, you could still lock the top console, the one that came OEM, and lock this one. So you sort of have 2 layers of security when it comes to that. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to install this. All right, now I've already installed it, so what I'm doing is I'm taking it apart so I can show you guys how to install it. So stick with me, and we'll go through step by step. All right, so as far as things that come in the kit itself, this is the lid to the console. These are 2 side braces that come with it. And then these 2 are different fillers that go along the sides up toward the top to fill in those gaps and make it hit along the top to where it makes a good seal inside. It also comes with screws and nuts and, just general hardware kit. As far as the tools that you're going to need for the job, you're going to need a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips screwdriver, a 7/16 wrench, a 5/32 Allen key, and a 3/8 wrench. Okay, so the very first step you have to do is there's this mat that's down here in the bottom. You got to take this mat out, because we will not be using it or needing it anymore. It should just pull up fairly easily. There we go. The next step is to take your box, your Tuffy box, make sure it's unlocked. Okay, so it's unlocked right now. All right, and you are going to drop it into the center console here. Now, I've already got all the screws and nuts down here because it was just easier to put them down there and keep up with them than it was to try to put them back in the bag and then fish them out again. All right, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your console insert and you are going to put it into here. Easier. There we go, just like that, okay? So it's going to sit up like that. Now, I am going to need 2 hands to do this next part. But what you're basically going to do is along the sides, there are these mounting holes that you see. So those little left trim pieces and right trim pieces, they're going to go in there. And then after we get those in there, I'll show you how to put the braces on. All right, so we got those little side pieces on. If you notice on this one, so the one where my hand is, it's going to be hard to see. Let me see if I can maneuver this to where it's not. There we go. So this one, the screw head's facing upward. On this one, it's actually the nut that's facing upward. And they tell you in the instructions to go ahead and do that because it's going to give you clearance on that side later for when you have to put in the brace. So I went ahead and did that, and then afterwards we'll adjust that to where the head is on the top and then the nut is on the bottom. Now, as far as these braces go, they look very, very similar. Now, you've noticed this one's got these sort of two little prongs, and then this one has got the two little prongs, and then it's got this little piece that hangs off the side right here. So that's going to be the difference between the two. Now, the one with the little piece that hangs off the side here, this little flange, is going to be the one that comes closest to the driver. All right, so closest to the driver's side. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put those in, and we'll see you in the next step. All right, so we got those screws in there. I'm about to reverse that one before I go to the next step, so flip it around. The next step we're going to be doing is we're going to be connecting this little hinge, this little pivot here, to where it allows the drawer to come up and down, you know, a little bit more controlled, and install that and get that going. So the last step of the installation is to put this hardware onto this arm that swings down, and it's going to attach down here to this. I know it's hard to see. Forgive me, folks. This is a very tight space I'm trying to shoot in. It attaches to this little bracket down here, as you can probably see it right down there by that little rubber nub. All right, so that's the last step that we're going to do, and then we'll be finished, and you'll get my final thoughts. So the installation of the Tuffy box is complete. Overall, I think it's a really great product. I think it's the finish on it is fantastic. The construction, the materials, the way it's set up, the way it fills up the console, you know, perfectly. It's obvious that they've been at this game for a while in doing what they do. All right, so what are the pros of having something like this? Well, the biggest pro is obviously being able to secure your things a lot better than just a standard OEM console. This is going to allow you to keep things that are more valuable in your Jeep without having to worry about sticky fingers coming after them. The other pro is that, again, you know, I mentioned it before, it's very well constructed. It's very well fit into the console. So what are some of the cons? Well, with pros, there comes cons. And there are a couple of cons. One is that it does reduce the size of your console. Not a huge deal. Not a huge deal. I mean, again, you're using it for a security area. You're going to have to make that sacrifice. The only other option I could see you doing is possibly doing maybe something like an under-the-seat storage, one of those lockable storage drawers that you do under the seat. Maybe not as easy to access all the time, maybe not as subtle as being, you know, in a console or whatnot. The other thing is you know, the installation wasn't exactly the easiest thing to do, but again, you're working in a very, very tight space, and because of that tight space, you have to, you know, really get your fingers in, you know, and get your arms in some very, very weird places to try to get some of these things fastened down. But again, that just comes with the fact that, you know, it's a very tight space that you're working in. Another con, I don't know if I would even call this a con, you have an extra key to put on your keychain. You know, it comes with keys, and it's an extra key on your keychain. I don't know if you call that a con or not. Again, it's a security lockbox. What do you expect? So at this point, I'm really just nitpicking. I think it's a really great product. I would definitely recommend it to anybody out there, especially if you want an added security option in your Jeep. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and hit the bell for notifications so you'll know exactly when new videos are coming out. This is Gary from Dixie Overland. We'll see y'all down the road.